Welcome back, Officers of the Republic. Is your Coruscant Underworld Police Chief AP Gaines here, and welcome back to the 69th Precinct, the only Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes YouTube channel, where the guy making the videos records them all at 4 a.m. and posts them the next day because, you know, life's busy. All right, we're getting into the first 5 Zetas that you should grab in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. This is whether you're a new free-to-play player, you just got a hyperdrive bundle, you're pay-to-play, it doesn't matter. Zetas are one of those things where you got to get them in the same order no matter what part of the game you participate in. No matter how much money you spend, you still got to get them in the same order. All right, really quickly before we start this video, I just wanted to tell you guys that the Onalt T101 video you guys have been requesting is premiering the day this video is going to go up at, I think, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's something you guys are interested in watching. I know a lot of people have been requesting it. You guys can go check that out. But without further ado, let's hop into the video. First off, first Zeta is going to be, and I'm sure you guys realize this, I don't know why I opened Malik. It's not Malik. Sorry, guys. It's Merciless Massacre. This is a pretty obvious one for people who've played this game before. You guys are understanding this, but basically, for those new players who don't understand this, I'm going to quickly explain why Merciless Massacre is the best Zeta in the entire game, especially for free-to-play players. So, a while ago, Darth Vader sucked, but now he's actually good because they added Merciless Massacre. Merciless Massacre allows him to pop this special ability and attack the entire team. It's kind of overpowered, especially because a top strategy, not only for free-to-play early game players, for hyperdrive players, for pay-to-play players, is to have a Darth Vader who's over-geared compared to teams you might face on defense. So, if you're about that 2 million to 3 million GP, you could have a highly relic Vader going against low relic or gear 13 or gear 12 or even purple geared characters. Instant max manners because you're one-shotting all of them. If you're more free to play, getting him gear 11 early, getting him gear 12 maybe as your first gear 12 character, same thing. Not going to do as much massive damage as when he's highly reliced, but the ability to attack everyone, maybe under an Emperor Palpatine lead if you're super early on, give him that extra turn, he goes Force Crush, gets an immediate extra turn, goes Merciless Massacre. Maybe gets a Culling Blade on someone to kill them, a bunch of basics, another Force Crush, followed by Emperor Palpatine Stun. You can really get this guy going on in the early game. Now, the second Zeta you're going to want to have is Jolie Bindo's. That looks pretty bad Zeta. This Zeta is a pretty simple Zeta. It's a pretty tried, tested, and true Zeta nonetheless. It just revives all dead Jedi allies. It's really, really, really good early game, and this was the previous first Zeta you should unlock before the Merciless Massacre Zeta was in the game, but now the Merciless Massacre Zeta obviously has taken that mantle, and Jolie Bindo's That Looks Pretty Bad has been stuffed down in there at number 2. The reason this is so good is because a lot of the climbing you're going to do in Squad Arena early on is going to be around that Jedi Knight Revan era. Once you get your Jedi Knight Revan, there's going to be a lot of Jedi Knight Revans. You're going to want that for the revive, especially if earlier than that, there's going to be a lot of Bast Lashan teams. And if you've ever done a Bast Lashan mirror match, it is annoying. It is so annoying. All the protection up, all this stuff going on. If you have this Zeta before your opponent, you're going to be in a very good spot for those climbs. Also, this Zeta is great if you take in a Jedi team, whether Bast Lashan or Jedi Knight Revan lead, against a stronger team. This Zeta gives you longevity throughout the course of the battle, getting those revives in. So let's say, for example, you're going against a really highly reliced or even highly geared. It's going to be compared to where you are in the game, but you're going against a strong defensive team. If you're later in the game, it's probably going to be a GG. If you're earlier in the game, it might be a non-Zeta bounty hunter team or something like that, or maybe like an Empire team. You're going to need those revives to keep the battle going on and on and on as you progress and fight this stronger team. These revives are really going to help you get that going. All right, so there is a contingency in the third spot. This is what I'm going to explain to you guys. Okay, so depending on whose guide you followed, if you followed my guide, it's going to be different from if you followed someone else's guide, or if you did some of your own stuff. Either you're going to have the boss leadership Zeta at 3. It's either going to be 3 or it's going to be 5. I'll explain it at 3 and then explain the real 3, 4, and 5, just so you guys get an idea, so I don't get ahead of myself. So if you already have Bosk and you don't have Padme, you're going for Bosk Leadership Zeta. The Leadership Zeta on the hunt, basically, whenever an enemy suffers a debuff or resists, all bounty hunter allies gain health and protection. The reason this is such a good Zeta early game, especially, is because that recovery gives you high banners, and when there's only 3 offensive potential battles, getting those high banners is very, very, very important. And later in the game, when you have a bunch of battles to do, you can make up banners if you do poorly, or you can get good holds or whatever. But when there's only 3 offensive battles, 3 defensive battles, you want to make sure that you can get as many banners as humanly possible. And with this leadership Zeta, instead of getting maybe 58 banners, you get 60 banners or 61 banners or 62 banners, because this allows you to undersize your squads, undersize your battles with your bounty hunters. It is incredibly, incredibly imperative that you get this Zeta within that top 5, especially if you're a new free-to-play player and you really need those banners to win your GAC matchups. So that's 3, but like I said, it could also be 5. Because if you have Padme already, 3 is actually going to be a tie between Unwavering Courage and Always a Choice. I would say Unwavering Courage first, then Always a Choice on Padme. So you have Padme by the time you have that 3rd Zeta going on. Throw it on Unwavering Courage. Basically, it just gives you, while you have the protection up, light side allies resist all debuffs and can't be critically hit. Gives you a little bit more survivability. Keeps those bad debuffs away from you so you can get those big hits going on. Keep the churn meter in order. You're not going to be stunned and stuff like that. Fantastic Zeta. Both of the Zetas on Padme are actually amazing, but this one I'd probably say first. So 3 is actually a tie, so this is really top 6 Zetas. I just want to throw an extra one in there because once you unlock Padme, you kind of get her Zetas back to back, and then after that, Always a Choice. The protection up just can't be prevented or dispelled, and increased by 40% if Padme is in their leadership spot right there. So Padme definitely got the best Zetas in the game, but you're not going to have her right away, because you have to be at least level 85 to start, and then if you don't already have a strong like gear 11 7-star Django with like a gear 8 7-star Newt with the Omega, you might not be able to unlock her. So if you haven't planned ahead following my guides, you might not be in the position to have her right off the bat. That's why the boss Zeta could go first, depending on whether you have Padme. So that means the last Zeta that we're going to talk about is Anakin's Righteous Fury. Anakin's Righteous Fury is a pretty simple Zeta as well. He takes an extra turn if someone dies or gets below 50% health and does massive damage. But if Padme Amidala is an ally, she takes a bonus turn as well. This combination with Padme Zetas is super important. This is why it's behind the Padme Zetas and maybe also behind the Bosk. Because if you have Anakin but not Padme, you don't need to worry about the Zeta until you get Padme, obviously, because you won't have Padme Amidala for the Padme Amidala part of this Zeta. But it lets Padme Amidala take a bonus turn as well, so you can get that big hit out. Let's say your guys didn't die, but they went below 50% health. You get out that big hit, gives the extra turn to Padme. She can heal. You get your team back and rolling. Or maybe you can get a kick to get a stun, or you can get a basic to kill someone off. Just having 2 extra turns after someone falls below that health threshold is incredibly important. It's a very valuable Zeta, especially early in the game. So yeah, that's going to be your top 5, but really top 6 Zetas that you should grab first in your Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes journey. Whether you're free to play, you're pay to play, you're hyperdrive, doesn't matter. These are the characters that you're going to have unlocked relatively early. That's why they're there. These are not the best Zetas in the game. Obviously, Gas Zetas and Supreme Leader Kylo Ren Zetas are more important. But these are the Zetas that you should grab in order if you're starting out in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. Alright guys, if you enjoyed the video, I would really appreciate you leaving a comment saying so, or maybe even better, join the Discord, which is where all of the fun stuff happens. As always, I love all of you guys, and I'll see you later.